This was a nice restaurant. I had always liked it, enjoyed the atmosphere, the food, and the acoustics. So many restaurants these days go for that unfinished ceiling look which kills the acoustics and magnifies and bounces the noise levels to the point where you can't really enjoy a relaxing dinner conversation. This was an old house that had been converted into an upscale steakhouse. The individual rooms had been left intact such that there are 7 separate dining areas on 2 levels, each hosting about 6 tables, nicely spaced to provide a nice degree of intimacy. It was a great place for a romantic dinner. Unfortunately, tonight I was not enjoying a romantic dinner. I was having dinner with my wife, Kathy. She and I were seated at a table in one of the lower-level dining rooms and she was fidgeting, rarely looking at me, nervous and frightened, but I could also see determination. I had barely spoken a word since arriving here, and only what had been necessary to be seated and order drinks. As I perused the menu trying to decide between the blackberry fillet or the beef tenderloin tornadoes in a bordelaise sauce, I took a pull on my single malt on the rocks and regarded my wife. She was still a physically beautiful woman, smart, successful, and until recently a woman who I would have died for. But I had no passion left for her anymore. She wasn't aware of the change in my attitude, but I would ruin her plans for this evening with that tidbit of news among others. Ben? That's me, Ben Jones. 49 years old and a reasonably successful software account executive married 28 years to the stranger now seated opposite me. Yes, Kathy? I sighed quietly. I wanted to talk with you about something. Well, that will make a pleasant change, Kathy. She eyed me with a little perturbation, twisting her mouth in annoyance. I hoped my attitude would resolve her nerves and get her to finally spit out what I knew she wanted. Yes, well, thank you for your sarcasm. Ben, it has always endeared me to you. Thank you, Kathy, but I wasn't being sarcastic in that instance. I didn't elaborate. I held her stare, taking another pull on my scotch until she looked off to the left and watched our waiter approaching. I didn't wait for the lady to order first as I normally would have. Instead, as he gained the table, I handed him my menu and ordered the blackberry fillet with the Spanish rice. Kathy, discomfited by my obvious disregard for gentility, scanned her menu quickly before deciding on a salad. Who orders a salad at an award-winning steakhouse? With the waiter gone, Kathy again fixed me with her gaze. Ben, I have been thinking a lot lately. About you, about me, well, about us, and I wanted to discuss my thoughts with you. There is, by God's grace, an immeasurable difference between late and too late. I replied. Excuse me? Kathy inquired. A day late and $1 short? I sighed. You were always willing to holler down the rain, Kathy. Holler away. You are being less than helpful, Ben. I am serious. What did you want to talk about, Kathy? Well, there's really no easy way to say this. I slowly rotated my glass, whisking the condensation up and away with my thumb and finger on either side of the glass as I turned it. Just say what's on your mind. Well, I want to try a period of separation, she gushed out. Nothing permanent, Ben. Just an opportunity for me to explore my thoughts further. I'll get an apart. No. She suddenly looked directly at me, shocked, a wisp of her blonde hair falling in her face as she jerked her head up too quickly for it to remain contained. Excuse me? What do you mean, no? A separation would be good for us. It would help me fall back in love with you and, Kathy, I don't want you to fall back in love with me. I smiled. Not a smile of love or triumph or of condescension, but an endearing smile. A smile you might use to humor a child arguing passionately for another 10 minutes of games before bed. I have no patience for your trying to justify your bad behavior, Kathy. You want a separation, so you can explore things with my replacement. So, which came first? The falling out of love with me, or the permission you gave yourself to cast about for my replacement? What the hell are you talking about, Ben? I have not replaced you and I am not looking to replace you. You'd have to agree that our marriage has been stale, and I think some time apart would help us to determine how we fix that and get back to where we were. Yes, Kathy, our marriage is stale. Actually, it is past stale, and I alone have tried for the past 2 years to try to change that. Unfortunately for us, there was only one person working on this marriage until recently, and now there are 3. Of course, those 3 have been working at cross purposes. I raised my hand to forestall the objection I saw coming. You have replaced me, Kathy. You have cheated on me, and now you want me to accept an arrangement where you can explore that relationship further. You want to separate to explore your relationship with Roger, not your relationship with me. I will not allow that to happen, Kathy. She was angry now. Twisting her napkin in her hands and glaring at me, she quietly hissed, You're wrong. I have not cheated on you with Roger, and he is not your replacement. What you mean to say, Kathy, is that you haven't been with Roger physically, but you've certainly been unfaithful to me with him, and you have replaced me with him. She looked uncomfortable. Keep your voice down, Ben. There is no need to broadcast our issues. Why, Kathy, but you already have. Tell me, who have you spoken to about this idea of separation besides me? She was looking very uncomfortable now. Well, I may have had a discussion or two with Roger about it, and just then our meals arrived. And so you're discussing our marital issues with Roger before you discuss them with me is not cheating me? Arriving at a course of action for our marriage with Roger and then not asking, telling me about your decision is not cheating me? Roger has had more input into my marriage than I have. She was silent, seething as our dishes were placed in front of us. I winked at the young female server who looked a little uncomfortable herself. Again, Kathy hissed at me, "You make it sound so sordid, Ben. Roger is a friend, a willing listener and sounding board who has been nothing but kind, considerate, and helpful. He is someone I can count on. He understands me, appreciates me, and doesn't judge me." Our waiter arrived to check on our well-being. "It is sordid, Kathy. You are an adulteress, you are insulting my intelligence, our marriage and our past, and you have ruined our future. Roger is slicker than a boiled onion, and he needs peeling. I would have thought you would have cheated up, not down." "Yes, thank you, our meal looks wonderful," I chirped to our waiter as he patiently waited for me to cut my fillet and agree that it had been cooked as I had requested. "I don't appreciate what you're doing, Ben." Kathy obviously felt ill at ease discussing this so openly. "I am not a cheater. I have not cheated, and you are wrong about Roger. As a matter of fact, I think you'd really like him. He's a lot like you in so many ways, Ben." "Well, I am glad that in your mind Roger and I are interchangeable, Kathy. You'll never know the amount of comfort I get from that." I think you've lost your mind, and for the record, in all of the ways that matter, Roger and I are nothing alike. I don't insinuate myself in other people's marriages in order to sabotage them. I don't screw other men's wives, and I certainly won't play his games. You have cheated on me, Kathy. You go to Roger with your problems and triumphs. You discuss our personal lives with him, seek his advice, company, and companionship. All things you have stopped sharing with me. You are a 304 who hasn't spread her legs yet, and you make me sick. I glared at her shocked expression and took a bite of my fillet and chewed it appreciatively, put my fork down and took a sip of water. I looked up at Kathy, who was regarding me thoughtfully. "Clearly this news has hurt you, Ben." "I didn't intend to hurt you." "Really? God damn it. Kathy, you are one bubble off plum. You knew full well that cheating on me would hurt me, which is why you kept it a secret. You didn't intend to hurt me? Well, you didn't intentionally try to keep me from harm either." I pushed my plate aside, pulled out my wallet, and dropped $200 on the table. As I rose from the table, I downed the rest of my scotch, looked down at Kathy, and said, "I will not allow a separation, Kathy. I have filed for divorce." We did divorce. Kathy fought it hard, requesting counseling in ridiculous terms. She refused to sign the divorce papers or bargain in good faith, demanding that I meet with her to discuss our marriage. I refused. I told her I would speak with her after the divorce was final and not a second before. I did want to avoid a contentious split so we could be civil around our kids and grandkids, but I wanted a divorce, and eventually I got it. We split everything right down the middle, and I walked away. Kathy sent me a nasty note demanding to know why I had just given up on our marriage and hadn't fought for her. How do you respond to that level of crazy? In response, I sent her a picture of her with Roger, capturing the betrayal plainly. She had kindly sent me the picture 3 days after I walked out of the restaurant. She hadn't yet screwed Roger when we had our dinner date. It took 2 whole days after our date. What restraint they had. I never heard back from her on that subject. I don't date much. I'm no Casanova, and as long as I get my ashes hauled every now and again, I prefer my own company or the company of my kids, grandkids, and close friends. My kids sided with Kathy initially. They didn't understand what it was that Kathy did that was so wrong. I felt like I had failed as a father. I explained my position to them, asking them that if their spouse had clearly stopped loving them and started a relationship with someone else, would they be accepting? Would they accept a separation so their errant spouse could explore the adulterous relationship without the guilt or inconvenience a spouse was likely to provide? Well, I couldn't. I wouldn't. Kathy had refused any serious attempt at trying to resolve our marital issues, and rather than discuss them with me, she found someone else to confide in, someone else to plot the future of my marriage with, and that was simply unacceptable. In the end, my kids understood, and our relationship improved while their relationship with their mother soured slightly. Kathy and I are both less happy and happier simultaneously. We're less happy because we're alone, But we're more happy because we managed to navigate a way forward independently. But move forward we did. Kathy remarried and divorced again within 2 years of our divorce. No, she and Roger didn't marry, and in fact never slept together other than that one time. I don't know or care why. I never remarried. I took an early retirement and moved to the country where I remain to this day. I am happy not to have to burn energy on a woman that doesn't deserve or want it, but I do miss the woman I married and what I thought we might share together. I mourned the loss of that as I celebrated escaping a love-starved marriage to a woman who I no longer knew, respected, or loved. We had many good years, but they fizzled and Kathy ultimately checked out. I was the one who pulled the plug on our marriage, but she was the one who shot it.